like United to sign Ferdi Kadioglu from Fenerbahce. So I'd like him to come through.
Well,
Uh,
you
Can't
got
hear that.
convinced. You got
Hold
convinced.
on.
Yeah.
who's that?
Got some technical difficulties on the go. One second,
Hey,
one second.
we thought you bottled it, man. After we took Lenny Yoro from you, man. Lenny Yoro, boy.
I can hear now, I can hear now.
You can hear, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No, I was saying, me and Alex thought you bottled it, man. After you realized we took Euro from you guys.
yeah. Nah, bro.
Listen.
I was on the siesta thing, innit?
How was it?
Bro, I forgot, man.
Nah, no worries, man. No worries. But how you been? You been good though, yeah?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So yeah, now we're just discussing, man. Obviously Wan-Bissaka, well, Man United, isn't it? Wan-Bissaka looks like he's
Yeah.
going to West Ham, and
How
I was
much for?
saying, Caddy, how much?
Mm.
I don't even know. I mean, United paid 50 mil for him. I think you'd be lucky to get 20 from him. If United can get like at least 20 million from him,
That's a big
I
loss.
think they've done well. But there's no way that I don't think they get him more than 30. No way. But
No.
How do you feel about losing him, though?
as I was saying to Alex, man, for me personally, because Alex was saying that, Wan-Bissaka's good in terms of when you're playing up against the likes of City, he can do a job in it. But for me, Man United shouldn't have players that can do a job, a specialist job. I think if Man United have a style of play where, they've got their fullbacks bombing on, they're good in possession, give the other teams a problem to worry about. And I think with Wan-Bissaka, he's nowhere
Yeah.
near good enough in the ball. And I would like to see someone like Kadioglu come in because he can play both sides as well. So if you can move on Wan-Bissaka and then you go and get a Kadioglu,
Yeah.
for me that'd be a great signing because I think watching him in the Euros, I don't really like seeing right-footed players playing left back, but he can cover both sides, which will be good. And he's a good technical player as well. So if we can get rid of Wan-Bissaka and get him in, then I'm all
You know
for
what?
it. Mm.
I spent a season watching Joe Gomez do that,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was happy we had him.
Mm.
Now, when it comes to Wan-Bissaka, I know he's more of a specialist player, but
Mm.
you kind of need those in your side, you know. Like as much as you want flexibility and you want people who can play
Yeah,
multiple positions, it's like how well do they play those positions? For
yeah.
example, it's if you've got fullbacks and you've got one bombing forward,
Mm.
maybe you want one to kind of invert into the defense and kind of move over into a three instead of having them both push on, for example.
Mm.
So like I think with Wan-Bissaka, it was more just how you use him because I didn't really see him as great going forward. But in terms of a 1v1 defender covering the space, he was good. He was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's great. You can't fault him at that. He's the best at that. But I think for the way we want to play,
Mm.
like going forward, we probably want our right backs to overlap because Shaw does that so well on the left hand side.
Yeah.
That does that quite well. But then when it comes to having Wan-Bissaka do that, it's just like he'll get into like the corners and then he'll either turn back or he'll try and do something and then it's just like the attack's done now. Like for me, the way I've got to look at it for him, if you can't dribble past the man, that's fine. But
Yeah.
just from where you can just literally put the ball into the box straight away. I don't even care if the cross is bad, but at least you're doing that because then it makes it look like you can do something in the attacking third. You know what I'm saying?
You guys have both played football, right?
Mm.
Both play football, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like we all know that like I don't know, I don't everyone trains to kind of do a 1-2 and cross it first time or take a touch, knock it closer to the byline and cross it first time. And you could always drill certain types of crosses, whether it's hard and low or you're chipping it to the back post or something like that. Yeah. You can drill
Yeah.
it over time. It becomes something that, like, for some people, they may not be very good at it or adept at it, but over time in training, it's something you can perform like normally if you're good at football.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So like, I would say
Completely.
that Wan-Bissaka is good enough at football to be able to do that.
Mm.
So if you,
The thing is, he's as I said, I think for this Man United team from last season. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's good enough. But the way Man United are looking to play in terms of having your fullbacks, comfortable on the ball, being an outlet as well, he isn't that type of player. He's
But that
more of
hasn't
a
really
specialist one-on-one defender.
that hasn't really changed because when you guys go forward, yeah, I know there isn't much of a plan, but in general, you can see kind of like things that happen quite often, which is where if you have a fullback that overlaps, they don't really cross it in hard and low. There's usually some kind of interplay, similar to
Oh,
what Arsenal did with Odegaard. Not exactly, but similar. So it's not like the ball comes in very quickly all the time. It's like
well,
when
with us, it
Misaka, go
takes
on.
about years to come in.
Yeah. So it's like I see your fullbacks or your wingers taking an extra touch quite often.
Mm.
Whereas what I'm talking about is if you just had Mamasaka like run on and then nine times or so let's say like 7 times out of 10 just hit across to the back post or to the whatever it is first time, that would make more sense for him. I don't know if this is correct, but correct me if I'm wrong. He's more available than Luke Shaw, right?
That's not hard, is it?
So it's
Yeah.
like if you have Luke Shaw, who is much better going forward, but just isn't as available. I don't really see how you can rely as much on him fulfilling his role in the team versus versus basically finding a better alternative to him or a more reliable alternative. Because that alternative isn't going to be injured as much as him, spend as much time on the bench, and at least you have a solid kind of backline through Wan-Bissaka. Like he doesn't have to overlap on that side. When most of these managers are planning the team sheets out, I'm looking at Man United, and you guys don't really know um who's gonna play where next season. Not really in certain positions like on the left or right. You're not 100% sure what the club's gonna do. Are you sure you're gonna sell Sancho?
Nah,
Sancho
he's
ain't
not.
going. Sancho ain't going anywhere.
Nah, he's not going. He's not going.
He ain't going anywhere, man. I knew he wasn't going anywhere anyway. You know what I mean?
I, I said this in the last pod. Well,
Yeah,
I've
he ain't
said this
going anywhere,
in the last
man.
two or
No.
three podcasts. I said he's going to come back next season. They're going to have a talk, and it's going to be sorted. Because there's no way you can have an issue like that go into
Yeah.
next without having that talk.
Of
Like I
course.
think put the whole.
Ineos ain't stupid, man. They're not stupid. They're not gonna allow an asset like that, yeah, just walk out the door. They ain't gonna do that. It's a
Well,
business, isn't it? So and as well, Jaden Sancho is still what? He's only what 20, 23, 24. Yeah.
yeah,
Sancho, if he if he gains the trust of I wouldn't say the manager of the club, yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna see what this guy's gonna do. Because as I said, like you don't become a bad player overnight.
No,
So I think if United adopt a way of playing where, as I said before, possession based, and play the more technical players, you're gonna see this guy thrive. And as I say, the signings of Joshua Xerxes is going to help someone like Sancho. Again,
Yeah.
another player that wants to play possession based. Lenny Yoro will
Do you
be a good
think
signing.
I actually wanted to ask you about that?
Go on.
So I'm not salty about it. I'm quite curious about it.
So
Do
why's
you
your head
think
down then?
I was cleaning my t-shirt, bro. Man's over analyzing that, bro. I see the body
Hey,
language
I
and
don't miss a
thing.
trick, serious. Go on.
All
Go
right,
on.
so do you think you signed him as a starter?
nah, it's not a start yet.
Of
I don't think.
course, of course,
Mm.
of course. And I'll tell you why, yeah? So quite simply like this, there's no way he comes to United to be on the bench because he could have played for Lille, get an extra bit of an extra year under his belt of playing regular football to aid his experience, or he could have just gone to Real Madrid and sat on the bench there. So why is he going to come and do that at United? Not
It's a,
Well,
not
I'll
to
give you an
mention.
example. I'll
it's
give
a,
you an example.
Wait.
Go on.
Not to mention the likes of Varane has gone now, so there's an opening spot. So he's definitely coming to start. You don't spend that amount of money on a player, on an 18-year-old to say to him, look, we're bringing you over, but you're going to be a bench option. That ain't going to happen.
So I was doing okay. This is where I've been looking at it. Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know. I don't profess to know loads about Lenny Yoro. I'm not gonna act like I'm a.
Yeah.
I watch League One. I don't. so I don't really know much about him apart from a couple of YouTube clips. Like when I first mentioned his name before when we spoke about him, I said he looks a bit rash sometimes. But like so long as he has a good coach, he can be molded into something good.
Yeah.
And there seems to be a lot of good conversations about him. He has good interests and stuff like that. I do know that you guys have overpaid for him in terms of how Real Madrid and PSG and Liverpool valued him in terms of that valuation. I don't know what his potential valuation looks like because I don't know enough about the
Well, the
player.
way it works out is he's going to be signing a 5-year contract with an option to extend for 12 months. And I
Yeah.
think it works out that United will be paying 9 million a season for that contract.
Paying in it, and he's on how much?
What wage?
Yeah.
Uh, He'll be on about I think he might be on about 120, I think.
I think if he was on that, he'd probably be on a similar wage to McAllister at Liverpool. For like context.
Yeah.
So
No, but the
so
thing is, I know what you're getting at. It's like, would you pay that for an 18-year-old?
I'm not saying necessarily would you pay that for an 18-year-old. I'm saying that if you had a reason to leave Lille this season, and go somewhere, for example, let's say his long-term goal is to go and play at Man United. He's 18, 19, whatever it is now. By the time he's 24, if he wanted to run down his contract on that wage, he could and then move to Madrid. Or he could be at least nice to the club and get signed for
Yeah.
Madrid. If that was his plan. If his plan is to fight for first team football, it's doable when you think about it, because in terms of injury records and whatnot and form, sometimes it's not really stable at Man United. So there could be a pathway in there. I just didn't see him starting over, for example, a fit Maguire. I didn't see that happening. As much as I take the mick out of the guy, I just didn't see him moving there. You guys starting a 19-year-old straight away.